What's going on, gaming prodigies? This is Ghetto Prophecy with more Total War Attila. Now, you guys are in for a treat today. I have 4 battles that I'm going to comment on in this one video. Also, for the future, once Total War Warhammer comes out, I will be doing multiplayer battles like I am for Attila, and I'll be putting commentary and videos up for that. So if you guys looking for Total War Warhammer content, I will have it on day 1 as soon as it's released. I'm gonna get that thing as soon as possible. I'm really looking forward to it. You know, I want it as I'd like to be playing it now, but I want them to finish the game and make it work properly. I don't want them to release it like they did Rome 2 with all these bugs and shit. So anyways, getting onto this battle, there were no rules of this battle, so I just spammed Bucalarii Guard Axemen. And I only brought 7 cav just because it was so heavily forested that I didn't want to overload my cavalry because they're not as effective in these forests. You know, the forest C says speed is only 75%, charge bonus is only 75%, so it's a 25% drop. Anyways, my opponent, he's playing as the Langobards, I'm playing as the Roman Expedition, and this fool brings Germanic Spearmasters, and he fully upgrades them. Now, these are good units, however, in multiplayer Attila, it is damn near impossible to make elite spear units cost effective. If you're going to bring spears, most of the time just don't. And if you insist on having spear units, only bring like 2 of your cheapest spear units, put 1 on each flank, and support your cavalry fights with them. Do not have them as a front line in your infantry body. Do not have them in the middle part of your army. Have them on the flanks or wherever your cavalry is going to fight, and support your cavalry with them. So he brought 4 Germanic Spearmasters. He brought some Godens men, triple gold. He brought some Godens Chosen, some Horse Slayers, triple gold. This is a really bad build for the funds. I used all except for like 10 funds, and I just have better overall units and some experience. And he only brings like 5 cav units. And see, he brought these he brought Germanic Lancers, and then he upgraded them, and upgrading the archers is pretty much useless. So here the battle's starting. I'm charging my Clibanarii into the Germanic Lancers. You can see how fast they're dropping, how quickly these Germanic Lancers are just getting wrecked. Even with all that experience, it doesn't really matter much. So right now I'm sending around more of my Clibanarii to charge these guys in the rear. I'm sending in my general to support from the rear, and he's going to pop brace. There he goes. Pops brace. I'm moving the rest of my infantry over here just to match his line, and I have my cavalry on the other flank simply watching his. So here I have all of his cavalry completely surrounded, and he's bringing in Spearmasters, which could do well in this prolonged melee, except for the fact that I have Bucalarii Guard Axemen attacking them in the rear. So these guys are going to go down pretty quickly. Look at that nice big mountain in the background there. Anyways, so he's bringing in more infantry support. He's bringing in his Horse Slayers, so I pull my Bucalarii Guard Axemen out to try to stop the Horse Slayers, and it doesn't really work. But Bucalarii Guard Axemen, they pull out, lose a lot of men for pulling out, and they get charged in the rear by more Germanic Spearmasters. Over here, the Godens men moving forward. Godens Chosen. So here, I'm gonna pull back with one of these units. Yeah, I pull back with this unit that's being charged, and I charge him with a separate unit that he doesn't have a charge order on. So that means this unit's just pulling through, so they're gonna take a lot of damage. Look how fast they're already losing men, and this unit's not gonna take any damage. So they caught a few guys. I'm just trying to pull away. So this unit was attacking them in the rear, and it exposes their flank. So now this unit can charge back in and hit these guys in the rear. So over here, my right flank, it's still silent over here. Just bringing in Gordonsmen, charging in. Now these Bucalaria Guard Axemen, they're the best one-handed axe units in the game, so they're going to do very well against infantry, especially infantry that's not Dane axe units. So they'll pretty much beat any other infantry unit one-on-one, unless it's a shock infantry unit like Thracian Oathsworn or Huskarls, or maybe even the Nordic Axe Warriors. I don't know, I haven't play tested all of those units. So over here, his cavalry charges into my cavalry on my right flank, so I'm just going to surround him with my axemen. And, you know, he's going to be done. So, that's what happens when you blob your units and you get surrounded. However, his archers and his crossbowmen are having pretty much free reign to shoot at my guys, especially at this unit that does not have an attack order. Now it's not that bad because all these trees do block a lot of missiles, but my guys are still taking a lot of damage in the end. So over here, this engagement, my axemen are going to mop up these infantry units. Over here, my cavalry are actually losing in this prolonged melee. He brought in more Germanic Spearmasters, and due to his experience, even though his units were losing the combat, his experienced chevrons kept his units with higher morale than mine, and he did bring his spears into the prolonged melee, so that's where you need to use spears. So this one unit was probably cost effective because it probably killed a whole lot of cavalry, but you could have done pretty much the same thing with a much cheaper unit. So over here, I'm winning on my right flank. My center is holding. The enemy generals, he's gonna die soon. Godan's warlord. Yeah, see, when they're not in a massive blob, his cav just melts. These Typhali cavalry.
An entire unit has perished.
Getting into his archers, although it doesn't really matter because they're out of ammo. Here I'm surrounding this Horse Slayer unit. Oh no, it's a Horse Slayer and Germanic Spearmaster. Getting a good flank charge. That's what you want to do when you're fighting the blobs like this. You want to get good flank charges. So over here, his cavalry that was victorious on my left flank is going to come over here and charge into my Bucalaria Guard Axemen. He's going to get a pretty good charge. So my guys are not braced. Oh no, he's coming around over here. Ooh, he gets a big charge into my blob. That's a lot of damage. But luckily enough for me,
The men have thrown down their weapons and are fleeing.
I still have tons of units left and he does not, so most of his army is just crumbling now. His general is down to 16 men. I've got 3 full-strength cav units. All he has is a bunch of depleted berserkers. So the game's pretty much mine at this point. I really love the way the Bucalaria Guard Axemen look, with their shiny armor and their little yellow plumes. I like how Godin's men look too, but anyways. So I'm just gonna triple speed it. Klibanaria getting a big last charge into the Godin's chosen. Let's look at the stats. So some of my Klibanarii are doing excellent, getting tons of kills. Others not getting so many kills. They actually went up against the elite spearmen in a prolonged melee. So yeah, that's what happens, you know, when you fight cavalry with spearmen in a prolonged melee. You see, these Godin's men just didn't get the kills that they needed to. So we've got another one. This guy. Oh, I remember this battle. All 4 of these battles I did today Well, actually yesterday, because it's 2 a.m. right now. So this battle was also no rules. So I just took a whole bunch of Heterea guards, a whole bunch of Clibanarii, some elite Ballastarii. Now this guy is playing the Franks. Once again, my opponent brings elite spear units. And instead of supporting the cavalry fights, he uses them as a front line and in his infantry. So here, this battle, he deploys himself on this giant hill. So I just move to the side. I deploy all in this corner, and I'm going to move to his side. To a side that's less steep. Because if I would have tried advancing up this steep side, he'd have a huge advantage fighting me downhill. Now he's still going to be fighting me downhill, but except it won't be as steep. And that's what's important. So this guy, he's playing as the Franks. Now the Franks, they have excellent shot cavalry. They have the Anstrutrionis cavalry guard, the Scar Francisca, Frankish lancers. But he brings none of those. He brings 4 noble Germanic horsemen. Now this is one thing I must go over with you guys. On this current patch, shot cav is the king of cav. There are instances where melee cav can beat shot cav of similar price. However, those are difficult to achieve. And shot cavalry right now is just all around better in almost everything except for a prolonged melee. If shot cav does not get the charge, they're going to lose. But if shot cavalry gets the charge, almost every time they will win. So I left my general out over here as bait. And he's taking my bait. He's swinging a whole noble Germanic horseman all the way over here, completely unsupported, just to die and get charged by my Clibanarii. Like, the heck? So he's pulling out. He's taking tons of damage by pulling out, but he does get a charge into my general. Pretty decent charge, too. Kills 20 guys on the first charge, but he just gets surrounded, and now that noble Germanic horseman is just going to die with only killing like 25 Palatina guards, and Palatina guards are trash, so that was not worth it. He could have used any of his other units to kill Palatina guards, but he threw away a whole quarter of his cavalry to kill like 25 people. So that was a horrible decision. You never want to do that. So over here we're just moving up my cav on my right flank. Here we go. I'm putting my guys in a wedge formation and charging in. These noble Germanic horsemen are going to have a bad time against my Clibanarii. They're not going to like it very much. And now I'm just rushing up my axes. Gotta charge into these elite spears, these Germanic spearmasters. Don't get the best charge. Ooh, get a big charge into these swordsmen, these Royal Anstrutrionis. Throwing axes coming in. So this guy playing the Franks, if he really wanted to win, he would have needed to bring shot cavalry.
The men are broken and are fleeing.
And more cavalry overall. So here the Heterea guards, they're throwing in their axes. They're going to get a good charge. I'm using rapid advance on a lot of them. They're just going to kill everything here. That's what Heterea guards do. You know, they'll beat every other infantry 1 versus 1. They do cost 900, so it's not like they're broken or anything. And any kind of cav charges, missile fire will just wreck these guys. But in a prolonged melee, and on the charge, in melee, Heterea guards will just destroy everything. So over here, I'm pouring heavy shot into these Royal Anstrutriones with my elite Ballastarii. And I'm going to start kiting these guys, because he's going to chase after my crossbows, which is a horrible idea. So I managed to get my cavalry into the enemy general. Now right now he's losing, however this Frankish general over time is going to be able to beat my Clibanarii because I did not get the best charge. So my Ballastarii are just
Our
kiting
men have
around
given
this
up and
unit.
are running for their lives.
Kiting around this Royal Enstrutiones. You can see how many people are dropping. I'm sending my Clibanarii in to intercept. Sending more Clibanarii in to the Cav. Had a red guards over here cleaning house. Just destroying the Frankish infantry. Now the Royal Enstrutiones, they're not bad units at all. They're pretty tanky. And they do a lot of damage for sword units, for the non-elite swords. So the regular swords, which is what Royal Enstrutiones have, they do 40 overall damage. I think it's like 36 base damage or 34 base damage and like 6 armor piercing damage or 4 armor piercing damage depending. Now if they had the elite swords like Noble Swaby Swordsman or Herculeani Senores or Elite Palatina, those elite swords, they have 50 damage.
The men are broken and are fleeing.
So they do the same amount of base damage, but they just have 10 more piercing damage. So they do 14 piercing damage, which is only 2 less
We have gained
piercing
the
damage
upper
than a
hand.
one-handed axe. As you can see, his archer is actually getting a good amount of kills. His cavalry doing shit. His infantry doing pretty okay. Except for this unit. Had a red guards, they got the kills, they always do. That's their job. Clibanarii, over 300 kills. Here we go, we have a Western Roman mirror. This battle was also no rules, but I decided to be nice this game and just use max 4 of the same unit. And I wanted to try out these shock cav units for the Western Roman Empire called the Scola Gentiles or Gentiles. They're light shock cav. So basically I bring a line of 4 Protectores Domestici, 4 Armigeri Defensores, then I bring 4 of these Scola Gentiles, and then 2 Clibanarii along with the Magister Militum General. So this is a full rush army. Oh, and then I brought 3 Elite Palatina. These units do so much damage, especially on the charge, but that's the thing there. You need to use them like shock infantry. They're not tanky infantry that's going to hold up the middle of a line. So here, the enemy brought artillery, so I'm just going to bring up my crappiest unit, these cohorts, put them in loose formation, and spread them out as far as I can. So that way they take the least amount of damage. Over here's opening fire onto my cohorts. This is fine and dandy. And he's shooting through the forest, so
Hidden units. The enemy has been sighted.
a lot of those arrows are being blocked. So I'm getting charges into his Herculeani Senores. This first charge killed 17 men by Scola Gentiles. Now he's chasing with his Cataphractaria. This is a good move by him.
The enemy is
Chasing away
going
my
for our
cav,
general.
so that way I can't get
Protect
free
him.
shots, free charges in. However, he keeps his cav there too long. No, he doesn't. I just get another big charge into his Herculeani Senores, this time doing tons of damage. He turns back around with his Cataphractarii, but it's too late. My unit's already pulled out. And I'm bringing in more shock cav. My Clibanarii smash into the enemy Cataphractarii, not my Clibanarii, my Scola Gentiles. So here we go, getting more charges into his Herculeani Senores. I'm trying to isolate these Herculeani Senores and kill them because they're very tanky units. They're basically tankier than the Protectores Domestici, than these guys. But on top of that, they have the elite swords, so they have 14 armor piercing damage, which is huge for a sword. And then they have like 36 base damage, so they do a ton of damage. My elite Palatina. Those are the ones I was talking about. These guys. Oh, that's Protectores. Protectores. What the hell? Yeah, these guys. My elite Palatina. These guys have the elite swords and they do the tons of damage. So over here I've completely destroyed one of his Herculeani Senores. Now, what's so important about that is that those are really expensive sword units. So if you can destroy your enemy's really expensive sword units, there's a lot more that you can do. So over here I'm just getting javelins off into the Herculeani Senores because they're clearly in a blocking position right here. They don't want me, my units in the center, to get around their flank. However, they're not going to be able to decide. And that's the end of the battle. My opponent, he concedes. After he sees that I mess up his Herculeani Senores, just kept charging in and charging out. Now this battle is hopefully a little more interesting. This is why I put them all in the same video, because I mean, who wants to watch like a 3-minute video of me just, stomping some dude? No one really. So I put them all together. So most of them are pretty short. So here I bring the Jutes. I bring Nordic Hurlers as my front line. 4 of them. I bring 4 Herdmen. Some good tanky medium infantry sword units. I bring 4 Royal Huskarls and 1 Nordic Raid Leader General. And then for my cavalry contingent I bring what? Only 4 Nordic Horse Lords? I thought I brought more. Oh, yeah, here we go. Then I bring 2 Nordic Horse... Oh, yeah. 2 Viking Raider Cavalry. Now, the Viking Raider Cavalry... This needs to be noted. These guys, they have axes, okay? So, they're not going to be good against fighting other cavalry. They're good against fighting infantry. So, over here, we're moving up. Enemy missile cavalry's coming out. My archers are setting up. I mean, not my archers, my slingers. They're setting up to start dealing damage to the enemy. He's pulling out his Germanic archers. So here I'm just moving up my infantry into the forest to where they cannot be seen.
Our general is being at the enemy has discovered our hidden troops.
So over here my cavalry is charging in. These noble Germanic horsemen. My Herdmen, they're moving up. They're going into shield wall formation. And they're going to take this charge by the Gothic Palatina defectors. They're going to do okay. They won't do the greatest, but they'll do alright. So here Gothic Palatina defectors are charging into Huskarls. Or Herdmen, rather. And I can just countercharge all these units with my Huskarls. Which is what I need to do now.
Our men flee the field of battle. This is a shameful display.
So here I see his cavalry general coming around. Getting a big charge into the back of his spearmasters. Now I should be charging into his general. There we go.
The men are broken and running for their lives.
Over on my left flank, he has no cavalry or they're already dead. So moving around, getting in good rear charges. Over here, Huskar is going to come in, support this infantry fight. They're just going to destroy all this infantry of the Romans. My cavalry's fighting off the enemy missile units along with holding down the enemy general. So that's very important. If I had a free cav unit, or missile unit, or even a melee unit, a sword unit, I could get them into this fight fairly fast. If that blob happened close to my line. That's what I would have preferred. But that's okay.
A unit has used all available ammunition.
So over here, my infantry are just mopping up their flanks and going to support wherever humanity needs it. And right now, we need it in the foothills east of the Black Sea. Herdmen getting a decent charge into the Germanic Spearmasters. But it's most important are these Huskarls and the Horse Lords. These Huskarls are doing a great job against these spearmen. The enemy Gothic general is going to die slowly to the Magister Militum. So over here the enemy tries surrounding me with snipers and such, but I position my machine guns so that way they cannot do that. I need to bring the HUD back up. I'm trying to farm these farmers, but oh well.
The enemy general is dead.
So here I'm gonna get a good charge into his archers. Actually not the best because he's pulling away. See, I'm not even going to bother chasing those guys. I'm just going to have to chase after their horses. See, here he gets a big charge into into the Thracian Oathsworn. And Thracian warriors are the best.
The men have thrown down their weapons and are fleeing.
I need more power right now. And that's the end of the battle. So as you can see, my Huskarl is doing well. Nordic Hurler is doing well. Viking Raider Cav doing okay. Nordic Horse Lords go over 200 kills. The enemy Thracian Oathsworn not getting the kills it needs. Skardingi Cavalry, however, getting almost 150 kills. That's pretty good. Thanks for watching.